12 episodes ago, we kicked off this season with a pretty uncomfortable truth. A lot of organizations are swimming in dashboards, and still starving for actual intelligence. Since then, we've gone everywhere. We talked about the decision layer, that missing bridge between an insight and an action. We put a name to intelligence debt, the cost of decisions that arrive late and quietly compound in the background. We looked at how the CFO role is shifting from scorekeeper to strategist. We argued with ourselves about gut instinct versus evidence, and landed on a more useful blend, informed intuition. We rebuilt board reporting so it's about decisions, not giant data dumps. We called out the silo tax, what it really costs when teams hoard information and nobody can see the whole picture. We separated prediction from prescription, because knowing what might happen is not the same as knowing what to do next. We looked at what it takes to respond in real time, when speed becomes part of the strategy. We built outcome intelligence loops so you can answer the question nobody can answer: did it actually work? And we finished by talking about ROI. Not the hand-wavy kind. The kind that makes sense to finance, the kind that turns intelligence from a cost center into a value engine. So here's the one thing we didn't do yet. We never gave you a clean way to step back, look at your organization, and say, where are we right now, and what should we do next? That's what today is. This is the season finale, and we're introducing a practical diagnostic, the intelligence maturity model. A framework to evaluate your organization's intelligence capability across everything we've covered, and turn the assessment into an action plan. I'm Nakel Nikiema, and this is the Intelligence Edge. For the finale, I brought back the panel that's been shaping the thinking all season. For leaders who've been in the trenches helping organizations build real capability, not just by tools. Dr. Lian Zhou is an AI transformation leader across Asia-Pacific, and she's known for telling executives the truth about where they are, and what it'll really take to get where they want to go. Lian, welcome back.
Thanks, Nakel. Ending the season with a single model that pulls all the threads together feels exactly right.
Maria Alvarez is a data governance leader who's built frameworks that can scale, from scrappy teams all the way into enterprise complexity, without turning into bureaucracy for bureaucracy's sake. Maria, good to have you.
Happy to be here. And yes, I'm excited to connect the dots, because maturity without governance is basically a house built on sand.
Jonas Richter is our ethics and compliance specialist, and he's the voice that keeps reminding us, intelligence maturity isn't only about what you can do. It's about what you should do, and what you can defend. Jonas, welcome.
Thanks, Nakel. If we build powerful intelligence without responsibility, we don't have maturity, we have risk.
And Kwame Mensah is an intelligence systems architect. He thinks in dependencies, sequencing, and what's actually required for these systems to work in the real world, not in a demo. Kwame, great to have you.
Glad to be here. I love a framework that forces realism.
All right. Before we unveil the model, let's answer the obvious question. Why do we even need a maturity assessment? Why not just start building? Lian, lead us off. What does a structured maturity assessment do that a normal strategy workshop doesn't?
3 big things. First, it exposes blind spots. Most organizations assume they're more mature than they are because they have data, a BI tool, maybe a data science team, and lots of dashboards. But maturity is about whether insights reliably become decisions, and whether those decisions are measured. The assessment makes the gap visible, between what people believe is happening and what's actually happening. Second, it forces prioritization. You can't invest everywhere at once. The model helps you see which capabilities are weakest relative to what your business needs right now, so you spend money where it will actually move outcomes. And third, it gives shared language. Marketing might claim they're fully data-driven. Finance might strongly disagree. Operations might be in a totally different reality. Without a common rubric, you're just arguing opinions. A maturity model creates a vocabulary for the conversation.
That last one is huge. Because if everyone uses the same words but means different things, you don't have alignment, you have noise. Kwame, from the technical side, what's the value of a maturity model?
It shows dependencies. Intelligence isn't one slider you move from low to high. It's a set of capabilities that rely on each other. People try to jump straight to advanced analytics and AI, but they haven't built decision capture, or consistent data models, or outcome measurement. A maturity model helps sequence the work. If you don't have the walls up, you can't put on the roof. The model makes it obvious where the walls are missing.
Maria, where does governance fit in? Because some people hear governance and they immediately think slow.
It can be slow, but that's a design problem, not a destiny. Governance is part of maturity. It's not an add-on you sprinkle in later. When organizations are immature, governance is absent, definitions are inconsistent, accountability is unclear, data quality is unknown. Then some organizations overcorrect. They build governance, but it becomes red tape. Truly mature governance is enabling, clear standards that increase speed and trust. The model has to evaluate governance as a core capability, because advanced analytics on chaotic governance is basically sophisticated error at scale.
Jonas, round it out for us. How do ethics belong in a maturity assessment?
Ethics is the integrity layer. You can be technically advanced and ethically behind. That looks like systems that surveil without consent, automated decisions no one can explain, optimization that ignores harm, or models that drift and nobody notices. Some teams treat ethics like a constraint, but in practice, ethical maturity is a scaling capability. It builds trust with employees, customers, regulators, and it keeps the organization from deploying something that later collapses under backlash or compliance pressure.
Okay. Let's build the model. The intelligence maturity model we're introducing today scores organizations across 5 dimensions. And these dimensions map almost perfectly to the themes we've been drilling all season. Lien, can you walk us through the 5 dimensions at a high level?
Sure. Dimension 1 is decision architecture, how decisions are structured, documented, and connected to insights and outcomes. Dimension 2 is information quality, whether you've got data that's available, accurate, integrated, and timely. Dimension 3 is analytical capability, how sophisticated your insight generation is, from basic reporting to predictive and prescriptive approaches. Dimension 4 is organizational alignment, culture, incentives, trust, adoption, and whether people actually use intelligence to make choices. And Dimension 5 is value realization, whether intelligence investments translate into measurable business impact, and whether you can prove it in a way leadership accepts.
And each of those is measured on a 5-level maturity scale. Kwame, define the levels.
Level 1 is ad hoc. Everything is sporadic. Outcomes depend on a few heroic individuals. Nothing is repeatable. Level 2 is emerging. You can see structure forming. There are pockets of capability, but they're inconsistent and disconnected. Level 3 is defined. Processes are documented and repeatable. Roles are clear. You can reliably deliver intelligence, even if it's not fully optimized. Level 4 is managed. You measure performance, manage it, and improve it systematically. You don't just do intelligence, you know how well it's working. Level 5 is optimizing. Intelligence becomes a differentiator. Continuous innovation. You're not just following practices, you're advancing them.
And just to make everybody feel seen, most organizations are living in level 1 and 2 across most dimensions. Level 3 is a real milestone. Level 4 and 5 are rare. Now let's go dimension by dimension, because the real value is in what these levels look like in practice. Maria, start us with decision architecture. What does maturity look like there?
Decision architecture is about whether you can trace the chain from insight to decision to outcome. At level 1, decisions aren't documented. People decide, move on, and later nobody can tell you what information they used or why they picked that path. There's no decision layer, just decision noise. Level 2 is when you see partial capture. Maybe some decisions are recorded for compliance, or only in certain teams. But it's inconsistent, and connecting decisions to outcomes is occasional, not standard. Level 3 is defined decision capture. Major decision categories have templates, owners, and a consistent process. Outcomes start getting tracked, even if attribution isn't perfect yet. Level 4 is where measurement gets serious. You track decision quality, you track decision latency, you can quantify intelligence debt, and you can see which decisions repeatably deliver results. And at level 5, the organization learns from every major decision. Outcome feedback is built in. Decisions improve continuously because the loop is actually closed.
Jonas, take information quality. What changes as organizations mature there?
Information quality is the data foundation, availability, accuracy, integration, and timeliness. Level 1 looks like scattered systems and contradictory numbers. Two teams run the same report and get different totals. People argue about whose spreadsheet is correct. And the silo tax is enormous, even if nobody is calculating it. Level 2 is when integration starts to exist, often just enough to power reporting. People know quality is shaky, but fixing it is reactive. Reconciliation becomes a recurring tax on time. Level 3 is governance plus standards. Definitions stabilize. You get single sources of truth for key entities. Integration covers the major systems, and the organization is actively paying down the silo tax. Level 4 is where quality is measured and managed. You can tell me your accuracy rates. You can show trends. And real-time data exists where it genuinely matters. Level 5 is when data becomes a strategic advantage. High-trust enterprise integration, real-time where valuable, and the organization can create intelligence across functions without fighting the plumbing every day.
B.I.M, Analytical Capability. A lot of people assume this is the whole game, but it's one dimension. Walk us through maturity levels here.
At level 1, analysis is manual and reactive. Excel everywhere. Reports mostly tell you what already happened. It's dashboard culture without decision impact. Level 2 introduces more structure, BI tools, automated reporting, some diagnostic work that starts to explain why something happened, but still mostly looking backward. Level 3 is when predictive capability becomes real. Models forecast, statistical methods are used consistently, and the org can plan ahead instead of only reacting. Level 4 adds prescription. Not just, what will happen, but, what should we do? And importantly, models are validated. Accuracy is measured. Decisions are influenced, not just informed. Level 5 is frontier-level applied intelligence. Advanced AI, optimization, continuous improvement, and the organization knows where it's worth being sophisticated and where simplicity wins.
Kwame, organizational alignment. This is the part everyone underestimates until adoption fails. What does maturity look like?
At level 1, culture is mostly gut-driven. People don't trust data or they ignore it. You buy tools and they sit there. The organization says, we want to be data-driven, but behavior tells another story. Level 2 is patchy. You'll see champions in some teams, leaders pushing evidence-based decisions, but incentives aren't aligned and adoption is inconsistent. Level 3 is intentional culture building. Roles are clear, reporting is designed for decisions, governance is functional, and you can replicate good practices across teams. Level 4 is when alignment is managed, adoption is measured, incentives support intelligence use, leadership models the behavior, and informed intuition becomes normal. People bring evidence and judgment together. Level 5 is when culture itself becomes an advantage. Talent wants to work there because decisions are thoughtful. The organization adapts quickly, and the CFO truly acts like a strategist, not just a historian.
Maria, finish the 5, value realization. The question executives will ask no matter what, are we getting anything out of this?
Exactly. At level 1, value isn't measured. Investments happen on faith, hype, or vendor promises. 2 years later, nobody can tell you if it paid off. Level 2 is when ROI exists, but it's inconsistent. People build business cases to get budget approval, but the math varies by team, and attribution is more storytelling than evidence. Level 3 standardizes the methodology. You define how to calculate ROI, how to track adoption, and how to attribute outcomes. It's not perfect, but it's consistent and auditable. Level 4 is continuous tracking. You can see ROI over time, not just at purchase time. You track unrealized value, places where you built something, but adoption is low, so the value isn't materializing yet. Level 5 is when value is managed like a portfolio. You know which capabilities produce which value, you improve attribution sophistication, and you optimize intelligence investments the way you'd optimize any strategic asset.
Alright. We've got the dimensions. We've got the levels. Now the big question, how do you actually conduct an assessment that isn't just a bunch of opinions in a conference room? Lien, give us a practical assessment process.
5 steps, and the sequence matters. Step 1, build the assessment team. It has to be cross-functional: analytics, operations, finance, technology, governance. No single group sees the whole truth. And includes skeptics, not just believers. Skeptics are how you avoid self-congratulation. Also, you need executive sponsorship. If leadership isn't willing to act on what you find, the assessment turns into a report that nobody uses. Step 2, collect evidence. Documentation, system inventories, process artifacts, and interviews. The maturity rating should be backed by proof, not vibes. Step 3, rate each dimension using the criteria as a rubric. Be honest. If evidence is mixed, rate conservatively. Overrating is how you end up building on a foundation that doesn't exist. Step 4, identify dependencies and set priorities. Some gaps block everything else. For example, you can't do credible value realization if you can't track outcomes, and you can't track outcomes if you don't capture decisions. Step 5, build the roadmap. A sequenced plan: what capabilities come first, what investments are needed, and what a realistic timeline looks like.
Kwame, what techniques make this rigorous? Like, what do you do when you walk into an organization and everybody's certain they're advanced?
You start with inventories. List all analytical tools in use, all data sources, all pipelines, all dashboards that actually get viewed, and all decision processes that are truly documented. Inventories are humbling. Then you do walkthroughs. Pick a critical decision and trace the full path. Where did the data originate? How was it transformed? What analysis was run? Who saw it? What decision was made? And what happened afterward? A third technique is sample audits. Choose a decision from last quarter. Try to reconstruct it. If you can't recreate the inputs, the reasoning, and the outcome, you don't have mature decision architecture, no matter what the PowerPoint says. Interviews matter too. Ask decision makers if they trust the info and if they actually act on it. Ask analysts whether their work changes anything. And if possible, benchmark against peers. Level 3 means something different depending on your competitive context.
Maria, let's talk integrity. How do you prevent the assessment from becoming a self-assessment with inflated scores?
You build safeguards. First, independence. Ideally, the people rating aren't rating their own work. Use cross-functional reviewers, internal audit, or external assessors when needed. Second, evidence thresholds. If someone says, "We do that," the response is, "Show me." Documentation, system screenshots, metrics, tickets, policies, whatever proves it. Claims without evidence get discounted. Third, calibration. The assessors have to agree on what level 2 versus level 3 really looks like. Otherwise the scale becomes subjective. Fourth, challenge sessions. Before finalizing ratings, you invite criticism. You ask, what would have to be true for this to be level 3? Or, are we sure we aren't level 1? That adversarial review improves accuracy. And finally, document everything: what you reviewed, how you decided, and why. Next year's reassessment should be comparable.
Jonas, anything people miss on the ethical side when they run assessments?
They forget that assessment results affect people. So we need ethical handling of the assessment itself. 1. Choose honesty over comfort. Inflating scores to avoid awkward conversations is unethical because it misleads leadership and delays improvement. 2. Frame it constructively. Level 2 isn't a moral failure. It's a starting coordinate. The goal is improvement, not blame. 3. Treat results as sensitive. Leaders need the full picture, but not every detail should be broadcast in a way that can be weaponized against teams. And 4. Don't assess unless you're prepared to act. An assessment with no follow-through is worse than doing nothing. It tells the organization that improvement is performative.
Okay. Now that we've got the mechanics, let's talk patterns, because not every organization is weak in the same way. Lien, what maturity profiles do you see again and again?
5 patterns show up constantly. Pattern 1, technology-rich, process-poor. Strong analytics tooling, maybe even an AI team, but weak decision architecture and weak adoption. The output looks impressive, but decisions don't change. Pattern 2, governance-constrained. They've got governance, but it's heavy. Data access takes weeks. Approvals stack up. By the time you get an insight, the moment has passed. Pattern 3, island excellence. One function is mature, often marketing or finance, and the rest of the enterprise is early stage. Cross-functional decisions suffer because the intelligence can't travel. Pattern 4, the measurement gap. They're decent on foundations and analytics, but can't prove value. So intelligence funding becomes a constant negotiation. Pattern 5, ethics lag. Technical capability outpaces accountability and explainability. And then you see resistance, employees, regulators, customers, because trust isn't there.
Kwame, if you see those patterns, how do you choose what to fix first?
Each pattern has a different first move. For technology-rich, process-poor, stop buying tools. Focus on alignment and adoption. Implement decision capture. Train decision makers. Make the existing stack actually change behavior. For governance-constrained, redesign governance. Move from gatekeeping to enabling. Use tiered governance, lightweight for low risk, strict for high risk. Don't throw governance away, calibrate it. For island excellence, integrate. Scale what works. Build enterprise standards and shared infrastructure, and actively address the silo tax. For the measurement gap, build value realization plumbing. Outcome tracking, ROI methodology, adoption metrics. Prove value before you expand investment. For ethics lag, build ethical infrastructure before you scale. Governance, explainability requirements, impact assessments, monitoring. Speed without trust is a dead end.
Maria, what about sequencing in general? If someone wants to move maturity up across the board, what comes first?
Start with foundations, decision architecture and information quality. If you can't capture decisions and you don't trust your data, advanced analytics will create confident errors. Then build analytical capability on top of that foundation, gradually. Don't jump to prescriptive when you can't reliably do predictive. Organizational alignment needs to run in parallel, because culture takes time. You don't wait for perfect tech to build adoption. Value realization comes after you've got enough capability to measure. But don't delay too long, measurement should follow quickly so you can sustain investment. And ethics isn't a phase. It's woven through all of it. You don't build now and patch ethics later.
Jonas, you've been pushing this ethics point all season. If we were to describe ethical maturity as a journey, what does it look like level by level?
Level 1 is basically no guardrails. No impact assessment, no explainability, unclear accountability. Level 2 is sporadic awareness. There's concern when something feels high risk, but reviews are ad hoc and depend on who happens to be in the room. Level 3 is defined. Policies exist, impact assessments are required for major deployments, explainability standards are documented, and roles are clear. Level 4 is managed. Ethical performance is measured. Fairness monitoring exists. Stakeholder impact is tracked. You improve the ethics process as deliberately as you improve model performance. Level 5 is optimizing. Responsible intelligence becomes part of the brand. Trust is a competitive advantage, and the organization innovates ethically instead of reacting defensively.
Now let's move from diagnosis to action, the roadmap. Lien, what separates a roadmap that actually works from one that looks nice and dies in 6 months?
5 qualities. First, it's realistic about time. Moving from level 2 to level 3 in a dimension can easily take a year to a year and a half of focused effort. Level 3 to 4 often takes longer. If the roadmap promises magic speed, it's probably fantasy. Second, it's dependency aware. It respects sequencing. Foundations first, then capability, then measurement, ethics throughout. Third, it matches resources. You name people, budget, and process time. Otherwise it's just wishes. Fourth, it has concrete milestones. Not, improve data quality, but, deploy a data catalog by Q2, implement quality monitoring for priority elements by Q4, things you can track. And fifth, it's tied to outcomes. The goal is not higher maturity scores. The goal is better decisions and measurable business improvement.
Kwame, if someone says, okay, I want initiatives, what are typical initiatives under each dimension?
For decision architecture, start with your top recurring decisions. Often, the top 20 decisions drive a huge chunk of impact. Implement decision capture for those, create templates, define owners, and set up outcome tracking so you can actually learn. For information quality, build the catalog, define quality metrics, implement monitoring, prioritize integration for the domains that matter most, and explicitly tackle the biggest silos you've identified. For analytical capability, rationalize tools. Most organizations have too many. Then pick high-value use cases for predictive modeling, and build validation and monitoring so models don't just ship, but stay right. For organizational alignment, you need a culture program, leadership training, governance redesign that enables speed, and incentives that reward evidence-based decisions. And for value realization, implement ROI tracking for major initiatives, adoption measurement, unrealized value tracking, and standardized business case templates so decisions about intelligence investment can be disciplined.
Maria, what about governance of the roadmap itself? Because one of the biggest failure modes is, great plan, no owner.
Exactly. You need governance for maturity advancement. Create a cross-functional steering group that owns the roadmap. Not just analytics. You need senior coverage from technology, operations, finance, and governance. And it has to meet regularly, quarterly at minimum. Track progress against milestones. Make it visible. Identify blockers. Assign accountability. And reassess annually. A formal re-rating once a year keeps everyone honest and shows whether progress is real or just claimed. Finally, protect investment. Maturity is multi-year. If you treat it like discretionary spending that gets cut every time budgets tighten, you'll never get out of levels 1 and 2.
Jonas, how do you keep momentum? Because people get excited right after an assessment, and then reality hits.
You manage the human side deliberately. Design for visible wins early. If the roadmap is all long-term plumbing, people lose faith. Pick initiatives that create noticeable improvement quickly. Then use those wins to fund the next wave. Leadership has to model the behavior. If the executive team still ignores evidence and makes purely gut decisions while telling everyone to be data-driven, that's the real culture. Also, expect setbacks. Some initiatives will take longer. Some will fail. Keep the story intact. Setbacks are part of building a durable capability, not proof that the effort is pointless. And tie it back to purpose. Not we want to move to level 4, but we want better decisions for customers, employees, and shareholders. Purpose survives when excitement fades.
Alright. Final tactical edge of Season 1. Practical actions listeners can take this week. Not next quarter. This week. Lien, what's the move?
Do a fast self-rating. Give yourself a 1 to 5 score on each of the 5 dimensions. Don't get stuck debating perfection. Your first honest reaction is useful signal. Then ask, which dimension is most important strategically, and where is our biggest gap? That's your starting priority.
Maria.
Decide who owns maturity advancement. If the answer is maybe analytics or kind of IT, that's the problem. This is cross-functional. Name an owner, or at least define a governance structure. Capability doesn't improve without ownership.
Jonas.
Look at your most advanced analytics or AI use case and ask a simple question. What safeguards exist? Can you explain it? Did you evaluate impact? Who is accountable when it fails? If you can't answer quickly, you found an ethics gap. Address it before scaling further.
Kwame.
Pick one dimension and go hunting for evidence, not opinions. Try to produce decision documentation, data quality metrics, adoption numbers, or ROI artifacts. Wherever evidence is hardest to produce is probably where maturity is lowest.
Let me close with a reflection. This season wasn't about being clever with frameworks. Frameworks are just tools. The point is better decisions. The decision layer exists to connect insight to action. Intelligence debt exists to show you what delay really costs. The CFO's evolving mandate brings discipline and strategy to intelligence investments. Intelligence culture makes sure insights get used. Board reporting becomes decision-focused. The silo tax reminds you that fragmentation is expensive. Predictive versus prescriptive gets you from knowing to doing. Real-time intelligence compresses response. Outcome intelligence closes the loop. And ROI turns intelligence into something leadership can fund with confidence. The intelligence maturity model is the synthesis. It's how you take all of that and figure out where you stand, and how to move forward, step by step. Because the gap between data-rich organizations and intelligence-rich organizations is going to keep widening. The question is, which side are you going to be on? Lien, Maria, Jonas, Kwame, thank you for shaping this season.
It's been a privilege. I'm excited to see what people build with this.
Thanks, Nakel. The synthesis matters, because it turns ideas into a path.
Honored to contribute. And I'm glad ethics stayed inside the core conversation, not on the sidelines.
Same here. And I'm looking forward to what comes next. Implementation is where the real stories are.
To everyone listening, thank you for spending this season with us. For the questions, the messages, and the real-world application. That's what makes this worth doing. Season 2 is coming, and we're going deeper into execution. More implementation detail. More real examples. More on emerging frontiers, like generative AI and what it means for decision intelligence, the globalization of intelligence capability, and how roles like a chief intelligence officer may evolve. But before that, run the assessment. Name your gaps. Build your roadmap. Start advancing. I'm Nakel Nikiema. Until Season 2, make better decisions.